Decision 94. The race for U.S. Senate.
You know who Mitt Romney is?
Sorry.
Don't know who he is or what he stands for.
Do you know who Mitt Romney is?
I don't.
No, I'm not familiar with them.
The year was 1994, and Mitt Romney was a political unknown. For 32 years, no Republican had come close to unseating Ted Kennedy, the Goliath of Massachusetts politics. But in the early 1990s, Kennedy's personal scandals were making front-page news, and Romney's advisors told him that Kennedy was past his prime and vulnerable to defeat. But that would prove to be poor advice. When a 47-year-old Romney faced off against Kennedy in their first debate, the public watched the seasoned politician scoring easy points against his rookie opponent. Here, Romney tries to debate an issue that would later become a cornerstone of his career: health care.
I have a plan. I have a position paper on health care. I'm happy to show it to you, Senator, anytime you'd like.
What is the cost of your program?
I don't have a cost to my program.
You don't have a cost?
No, I'm sorry. I don't have the congressional.
I
don't have the congressional budget office.
Do you have any other estimates?
I don't have the congressional budget office that goes through and calculates the cost of my program. As it did for years, the cost of your program was billions of dollars in additional deficit.
What will be the cost in terms of the tax incentives that you provide? What will be the impact of that on the budget?
Well, the impact, I do not know the specific number.
So you don't know the cost?
On the budget, Senator Kennedy, and I think it's a wonderful idea to take it through piece by piece. And
that's what you have to do as a legislator.
I understand,
that's exactly
Senator.
what you have to do as a legislator.
Kennedy owned the room. Leading up to the debate, Romney, the millionaire businessman, had been trying to portray himself as a down-home Boy Scout type.
We came into Massachusetts over the Berkshires, down the turnpike, in a Ryder truck with a 1-year-old child at our side. That was 23 years ago.
But the public wasn't buying it. Even the debate moderator called him on the act when Romney was asked for his greatest personal failing.
And when I came here to Massachusetts, we decided that one day each week I would give in service to people less fortunate than myself. I've spent hours and hours, hundreds of hours in hospitals across the state from Worcester to Boston, working with sick people, talking to them, consoling them.
Mr. Romney, can I interrupt you? This was a question about your greatest personal failing.
My greatest...
His business career also became a liability. While Romney claimed that his work as a venture capitalist meant that he was a job creator, Kennedy attacked with a devastating string of television ads featuring a group of factory workers, seemingly from Central Casting.
Mitt Romney says he helped create 10,000 jobs. The former workers at SCM in Marion, Indiana, say something else.
You're not creating jobs, you're taking them away from us.
He just wants to take money out of your pocket, put it in his.
I'd like to say to the people of Massachusetts, if you think it can't happen to you, think again.
Romney tried to explain that he was not directly responsible for the job losses, but it was too little, too late. While he did surprisingly well for a first-timer, Romney suffered a sound defeat. Today, he says that Ted Kennedy taught him politics that year. But even in 1994, Romney was no amateur. In another place and time, political campaigns had been the Romney family business. In 1962, when Romney was 15, his father, the passionate George Romney, ran for governor of Michigan and was often accompanied on the trail by his youngest son.
When I was involved in my dad's campaigns, it was very much of a learning experience. I knew very little, and he was teaching me.
In 1994, he would teach Romney again. The father came to Massachusetts and moved in with Mitt and his wife Ann to help with the campaign against Kennedy.
It was amazing for a guy 88 years old to walk the entire parade route and shake hands. He just loved it. Those in the media who were around at the time will remember him coming to press conferences on occasion, and he'd stand up and start talking, and all the cameras would turn because he'd be bellowing out, "You folks are wrong. You've got to understand what's going on here." My dad was irrepressible, and that's why people loved him so much. He expressed his views without any filter. He just told people what he felt. Got him in trouble, too.
That trouble was one poorly chosen word: brainwashing. After 3 terms as governor of Michigan, he had launched a promising campaign for the U.S. presidency. But then, in August of 1967, A Detroit interviewer asked him about the Vietnam War.
Isn't your position a bit inconsistent with what it was, and what do you propose we do now?
Well, you know, when I came back from Vietnam, I just had the greatest brainwashing that anybody can get.
By the generals?
When you go over to Vietnam, well, not only by the generals, but also by the diplomatic corps over there. And they do a very thorough job.
Ann asked him one time whether he regretted the whole brainwashing experience, and he said, "Oh, no." He says, I never look back. I only look forward. It was almost uncanny. I mean, I'm more of a normal human than he. He was really unique. A person also without guile. He didn't strategize as to how to get ahead of Richard Nixon or what dirty tricks could be played. Dirty tricks could be played on him, I'm sure. But he didn't worry about that.
The younger Romney would have more guile than his father. In Mitt Romney's second try for political office, a 2002 run for governor of Massachusetts, the son was prepared for battle. He was a national celebrity by then, getting credit for turning around the scandal-ridden 2002 Olympics in Salt Lake City, and he didn't hesitate to capitalize on his Olympic glow, even enlisting New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani.
This has been a challenging year, but we've also seen what our country is really made of. For me, one of the proudest moments was the Winter Olympics. The entire world saw an America that was unafraid and unbowed. Mitt Romney made those Olympics happen.
Unlike his father, Romney learned to be cautious and calculating in public. He orchestrated a hard-charging campaign, as fierce as Kennedy's had been against him a decade earlier.
Because I learned in my race against Senator Kennedy, don't be so naive as to just to sit back and say, oh, I'm going to be positive while they're negative. That doesn't make sense. If attacked, return fire.
Has Treasury watchdog Shannon O'Brien been watching our money?
This time it was Romney's television ad about his opponent, State Treasurer Shannon O'Brien, that dealt the devastating blow.
What did Shannon do as watchdog? She got her own pay raise 60%.
And he followed up in person. The flustered rookie of the 1994 debate was replaced by a self-assured and unrelenting contender.
The Treasurer's office has seen her raise her own salary by $45,000. It's seen her... I'm sorry, what's the number then? You lobbied for and got a $45,000 pay increase. Is that right or wrong?
That's wrong. I did not raise my own
You lobbied for a salary increase and took a salary increase of $45,000. Is there something I've said that's wrong?
Romney pulled off a solid win against O'Brien. And exactly 40 years after his father became Governor Romney, Mitt did the same. He had become a practiced politician, some would say a permanent candidate. A mere 6 months into his governorship, Mitt Romney's bid for the White House began to take shape.